Welcome back to Two Doctors Homestead. My name's Daniel, and this is 30 Days of Preparedness 2025. Hashtag 30 Days of Preparedness 2025. Wanted to thank Michelle and JJ, Big Valley Living, for inviting us to the collaboration. Last video we did was an intro to preparedness, and I showed a couple books, right? And I said in the video, if there's something you guys want me to cover, let me know. And we dial in on that, right? We're kind of focusing in on what you guys want to see. And we got a lot of comments around the books. So I figured this time we're going to do books. And I didn't get all the books. I got a lot of books. I'm kind of half sitting down because if you've ever laid out a lot of books around you, they just got to sit on the ground, right? There's no table big enough here. So we're going to look at books. But keep that in mind for next week. If you see the video and you see something else you're interested in, let me know. We can do that. I'm thinking maybe going tactical. I'm thinking maybe going get home bag. I've never done a prepper tactical video. We'll see where it goes. A lot of ideas, but I want to kind of lean into whatever direction you guys are interested in. Once again, 30 Days of Preparedness 2025. Hashtag, right? So Daniel, Two Doctors Homestead. In case I didn't mention that, I'm kind of excited. I got all these books laid out. It gets me kind of excited. So let's jump into that. Where to start? Try not to move around too much in talking, but I got to pick stuff up. So we'll start where we started last time. It's not where we're going to end. We got a ton of books. Prepper's Long-Term Survival Guide. So if you're interested in preparation, interested in getting into prepping, this is a good place to start. It's a very high-level guide. Covers a lot of topics, right? Just the whole range. Physical water collection, storing, growing, hunting, foraging, first aid, medical, techniques and tactics for fortifying and defending your home, community, building strategies for creating new society. Mile wide, inch deep, but it's a good place to start, right? If you're interested, this is Jim Cobb, and we're going to try to get everything on the Amazon list, all of these books. If you see one that's not, let me know. Just easier, right? We put it on the Amazon list. So Prepper's Long-Term Survival Guide. We hit that before. I'm not going to linger on that too long. Got a lot of ground to cover. When I look at books, knowledge, right? It's potentially generations of knowledge combined into one book. You read it, you study it, you understand it, you practice it, right? That's how we build skills. Done a lot of college. A lot of college is reading books and understanding the books and writing about the books. So you can do this at home. You can get a library card. Maybe not every one of these books, but you might be surprised. It doesn't have to be expensive. You don't have to have a huge library. Books are great, right? I'm just going to say that. I know they're not for everybody. So we're going to keep going. All right. So we talked about Bushcraft Essentials Field Guide. Dave Cattenberry, right? David Cattenberry. Great book on bushcraft essentials. So when you dig into preparedness, survivalism, you hit the 10 C's. He talks about the 10 C's of survival: cutting tools, combustion device, cover elements, containers, cordage, cotton material, cargo tape, compass, candling device, canvas, sail, needle. They say those are the things you should have in a survival kit. You've got self-aid, you've got natural medicine, shelter, the whole thing. Great book, great guy. He's got his own YouTube channel. I'm going to also add another book here, which is Bushcraft Field Guide to Trapping, Gathering, and Cooking in the Wild. If you're interested in doing more of the survivalist route, which I'd say the survivalist route is heavier on the skills. It's more about going out into the woods and being able to survive. You trap, you build your shelters. If you're a TV guy, you've seen Naked and Afraid, you've seen Alone. They go out into the woods, they build their shelter, right? These are the types of books you might be interested in. This has I may not be able to flip to the page, but it has a recipe for cooking with your engine. Yeah, there we go. It was engine burritos, and it was how to make burritos cooking with your engine. Buick burritos. There we go. Buick burritos. So great book. A lot of good skills. Once again, you read it, you find it interesting, practice some of the stuff, right? It's how you build the skills. You read the book, you practice. Bushcraft Field Guide, Trapping, Gathering, Cooking in the Wild. Dave Cattenberry, right? So we got that one. Good skills, good high level. You get your prepping overview. You got your bushcraft. We'll keep going. We got a lot to cover here. Talking about just good general skills. Building chicken coops for dummies, right? This is a For Dummies book. Todd Brock, David Zook, Rod Ludlow, Building Chicken Coops for Dummies. So one thing I like about this book is more than just a lot of great chicken coop designs, which who doesn't want cool chicken coops? it kind of does an intro of how to build. If you don't really have that carpentry or construction background, which some people don't, yeah, getting up to speed on carpentry. It actually gives you some basics on how to do carpentry, right? Putting up nail walls, putting up a roof, a lot of just kind of good ideas, how to work with wood. So if you've never done any of that before, I would definitely start with this book. It was a good book, right? We built my chicken coop, maybe if you follow the channels, 52 by 12. It's 52 feet by 12 feet. I read this book first. I'm not saying I learned all my carpentry skills from reading this book, but it has a lot of good information. If you don't have those skills, certainly something to think about. Good book, Building Chicken Coops for Dummies. Next one, also something to think about, Backyard Blacksmith, right? Traditional techniques for the modern smith. Lorelei Sims. So this is not my first YouTube channel, Two Doctors Homestead. Had some in the past. I had one. I did a backyard foundry for a while, and I had a YouTube channel around that foundry. If you go through my videos, like back to when we started this channel, I dropped some of those. Cast a foundry out of refractory cement and was casting stuff, and it was a lot of fun. And this is one of the books that kind of got me inspired on that. But if you're interested in that skill, learning how to be a blacksmith, how to make your knives and stuff like that, good book. Not a bad place to start. A lot of good information in there. Let's hit some more skills. Now, this is not necessarily prepping per se, but maybe it is. Maybe it is prepping, right? From Vines to Wines, great book. Lived in Washington, property up in Washington. There was a huge grape. They already had a lot of grapes planted. And we got the property. We picked all the grapes, and it filled up about a 50-gallon big trash can full of grapes. I'm like, okay, let's figure out to make some wine. So I bought the book. I sped read the book. Jeff Cox, From Vines to Wines, made the wine. That was my first time to make wine. I got pictures. I was young when I did that. You can see it's well used book. This book takes you through the entire process of growing grapes, making wine, the whole thing, how to grow your grapes, how to make your wine. If you want to make your own wine from grapes, great book. Talks you through all the way. A lot of good information. So where does that fall into prepping, into survival, into homesteading? Hey, when the zombie apocalypse happens, you might want to make some wine, right? And this book will get you. This is 100% all the way through, from growing grapes to making wine to how to taste wine properly, right? And the ways to taste wine and understand if you've got good wine. So great book. Highly recommend it. Next one, Complete Homebrew Beer Book, right? I went through a homebrew beer phase. We all did. Trying to be a hipster, right? Made a lot of beer at home. Great book for that. Homebrew Beer Book. Talks to you once again. You got recipes and you got the whole process in here. Making your homebrew beer. A lot of fun. Did it. Recommend the book. Once again, zombie apocalypse, whatever. You're probably going to want to make some beer. You're going to run out of the bottled stuff. Good book to have. Good skills to learn. A lot of fun. Just another hobby, right? Another hobby. So, good books. Let me hit some more books here. We hit this one last time. Water, Important Preppers Water Survival Bible. How to find, collect, filter, purify, and store your most vital resource. So, a complete set of life-saving methods. Clean water is important, right? You're not going to survive very long without clean water. That's just the way it is. So, this is a good kind of high-level book. If you look at the professional, you could say, books, they're huge books that you would use to take the test to become, say, a water treatment type person, water treatment engineer. But there's a lot of good information in this book. Gets in how to purify your water. And I think if you're ever in that kind of situation, you want clean water, this is Max Waterman, Prepper's Guide. So hit that one. We'll keep going. I'm just kind of going left to right. These kind of books are great. Chicken Health for Dummies, right? You see, we raise a lot of chickens. We got a lot of chickens. Something like this is good. I know you say I'll just Google it, but it's nice to have a clean, consistent, you could say opinion, right, on things. So if something goes wrong, you can look at the book. Another one, Raising Pigs. We got the Raising Pigs book. Read it. It gives you a good understanding. We've raised pigs. We raised feeder pigs. We've raised chickens. I've got the rabbit book downstairs. As I said, this isn't all the books. This is just, I grabbed a lot of books. Get the animal books, right? If you plan on raising animals, if you want to learn more about the animals you already have. I remember seeing a slideshow, and it was, if there's a EMP attack, first thing you do is you go out and you round up all the chickens you can find, right? As if you're just going to figure it out. It's not meant as an insult, but animal husbandry, chicken keeping, chicken tending is a skill. It's all a skill. It takes time, right? I would definitely recommend get the book. Sure, you can learn a lot on Google. It's as long as Google's available, right? And one of the challenges with Google, especially we're seeing on rabbits, we're getting into raising rabbits, is you get a million different answers on everything. At least if you have a book, you can decide, hey, I trust the author, so I'm going to go with that. That's going to be the win. We'll go with what the author says because he seems to know what he's doing, right? And that's something we're losing. We're losing that bit of information. So I'm going to keep going here. We've hit this book before. This is a big book. You see it's a big book. Encyclopedia of Country Living, 50th Anniversary Edition, the original manual for living off the land and doing it yourself. Carla Emery. We did a video just on this book, and I'm not sure we did it justice. This covers, I hate to say everything, but it covers everything. It's covers childbirth, right? How to do childbirth, milk goats. I mean, it covers how to plant wheat, turn the wheat into flour, and then bake bread, right? There's so much amazing amount of information in this book. I can't understate it, right? Can't overstate it. Great book. So if you just want to understand, hey, you're new to homesteading, or maybe you've been homesteading for a while, so much information, so much knowledge in this book. Maybe you don't sit down and read the whole thing, kind of skim through it, hit the areas that are most interesting. You get gardening vegetables, so much information, grasses, grains, and canes, harvesting and storing, growing buckwheat, so much information, a lot of good. Great book, so highly recommend this one. And I'm going to keep going. So we didn't even get them all here, but wanted to share some books. Some more good skills here we talked about. I showed the Prepping with Rice and Beans, the cookbook. So once again, if your survival strategy is I've got 300 pounds of rice and 300 pounds of beans, how are you going to cook it? It's going to get really boring. So this something like this, great book. Prepping with Rice and Beans cookbook, tasty survival recipes with beans and rice. Doesn't have the author on the front. All right, that's it. No author. Apparently no one wrote it. So great book. Next one that's kind of fun, Wild Game Cookbook. So if you want a recipe for squirrel, this book's got a recipe for squirrel. In the zombie apocalypse, if you don't think you're eating squirrel, you're crazy, right? We'll all be eating squirrel at that point. It's got good stuff, catfish, beaver, possum, baked squirrel. So we'll hit the squirrel recipes just in case, just so you get a sense for the depth of the book here on the squirrel side. So you got fried squirrel. You got broiled squirrel, squirrel a la hulazini, singed squirrel, squirrel mulligan. You got squirrel stew. 3 different recipes for squirrel stew, baked squirrel. Now, I'm going to be honest, I've never eaten a squirrel, right? But if I had to, right, it's got the recipes. Interesting book. I love these old books. This is a very old book. Just to see those recipes. I mean, it's got other stuff, salmon, bear stew, bison, venison. So if you're in kind of that Swedish meatballs, antelope, roasted elk, right? If you're interested in that wild game, it's a fun book to get. Even if it's just for a laugh, it's a fun book to get. Next one, I've used this one a lot. Butchering, Processing, and Preservation of Meat, Manual for Home and Farm, Frank Ashbrook. Great book. We'll hold that up there. If you want to learn how to process animals and you're starting from zero, this is a good book to start, right? A lot of great information on how to process animals. Walks you through the whole thing. Now, certainly you can go to the Bearded Butchers on YouTube. A lot of great information there. Right, I'm not saying there's not, but if you want it in a book, if you want something you can hold in your hand and read through, this is great. And it's got recipes that walks you through the whole process of processing and preserving animals, preserving meats. So good book, good skills, important, I think, to have on the homestead, have as a prepper. I've still got a lot left. I'm trying to go quick through here, but not too quick. Not to appreciate. All right, we did Nuclear War Survival Skills. Good book. This is Kress and Kearney. We talked about it, how to build bomb shelters, how to survive nuclear war. Literally, that's what it says, Nuclear War Survival Skills. If you get into book, they actually sort of say the idea behind the book was if they say there's nukes incoming and you had this book, you could bust out the book, jump to the section, and sort of go. I don't know on that because I think building a bunker is going to take a long time, but it's a good book. So I think it is actually available for free as a PDF, Kress and Kearney. Great book. Highly recommend it. A lot of good information if you're curious about what happens when when someday a nuclear bomb goes off. You know, you've got things like blast areas, right? All that stuff is in here. Good book. Can't say enough about it. Another fun one, U.S. Army Ranger Handbook. That's a fun book. Some of the stuff is practical, some maybe not. You got the mountaineering looks good, battle drills, patrols, demolitions, communications, fire support, operations. If nothing else, it's a fun book to have. Sometimes you just gotta have fun books. All right, next one, if we want to talk about communications, you've got ham radio, ultimate quick start guide, and then there's a license manual, right? So if you want to get into communications, there's FRS radios, which are the little walkie-talkies. There are GMRS radios, which is a bigger walkie-talkie, more range. And then there's ham radios. If you want to talk around the world, you need a ham radio. If you want to use a ham radio legally, you have to have a license. So these are some of the books I got on the license journey on the ham radio, help you with your communications. I think communications are important. Speaking of journey, Road Atlas, right? Road Atlas, important to have. You need to know how to get around. It's good to have a map. You can't always count on Google on your phone, so I think it's important to have a map. We've got the Road Atlas here. This one is Scenic Drives Edition, National Geographic. There's a ton of them out there. Not as many as there used to be, but you've got the major roads of every state. You've got New Jersey, you've got New Mexico, you've got scenic stops, Idaho, Illinois. If you're old, you're used to maps, right? We always used to have to navigate by maps. I feel like the newer generations, you guys probably haven't spent a lot of time with maps. Highly recommend a Road Atlas. If you're planning on going off-road, be an expert with map and compass. Good book, a lot of great information in here. Be an expert with map and compass. Bjorn Kjellstorm, right? If you really want to know how to use a compass, how to navigate, great book. Highly recommend it. Really enjoyed it. A lot of good information. It's got some GPS stuff. It's got some orienteering information in here, but it really gets into how to read the map, how to read the compass, how to actually navigate. So could be something you're interested in. It might be a skill you want to develop. So recommend that book. I've done some videos on these before. Haynes Repair Manual. This is a Toyota Highlander. Got one for all the vehicles. If you've ever had to repair your vehicle, this is a lifesaver. You see I got my little tags. If you look at the one for my truck, I've done a ton of work on my truck, took it apart, put it back together. I need to do some more work on it. If you've never seen one of these before, it's a step-by-step guide. Literally how to take your car apart, how to put it back together, how to troubleshoot issues. I feel like it's a lost skill, but when we look at things like car repair, even now, I'm finding like labor's 10x parts. So a $100 part's going to cost you $1,000 at the mechanic. That's certainly my opinion. That's what it seems like now. You'd be surprised. You get the book, read the book, get some tools. The money you spend on tools is nothing to compare to what you'll save on labor. Things are so expensive now. Highly recommend it. Learn how to fix your car. Get the book for your car. Even if your car's in good shape, you might find yourself in a situation where you have to fix your car, whether you're trying to save money or whether you're just trying to survive, right? Stay alive, zombie apocalypse. You want to fix your car. We're getting there. We're getting close here. Got another stack of books, another stack to go through. We got Survival Medicine Handbook. We talked about this. Joseph Alton, Amy Alton, so much information. The Essential Guide for When Help Is Not on the Way. This is 4th edition. I think they have a YouTube. Ton of information. Great book, right? Highly recommend it. Even something like headache, right? The way they present, type of headaches are listed out here. You've got headache relief, how to kind of treat them, TBI, no one wants a TBI, evaluation, treatment, prevention, a lot of good information, strokes. Great book. I think important to have that kind of medical information available. This is well presented. So really highly recommend. And I'm going to keep going. You've got another one, Prepper's Medical Handbook. It's a little bit lighter duty. William Forgy, also MD. A lot of good information here, right? It's a lighter book. It's less information, but it's a lot of really good information compared. Learn how to prepare for medical emergencies, managing bone, joint, soft tissue, other trauma, managing other austere circumstances, pain and fever, dental emergencies, bioterrorism, environmental emergency, radiation exposure, poisoning. A lot of good information. Once again, good book to think about. Show you that. And if we're going to talk about medical, you can't forget about your pets. It's not always the same. First aid companion for dogs and cats. What to do now, over 150 everyday accidents, essential medical chest, how to build kind of that first aid kit. And I know the Prepper book, I think I kind of blew past it. It also talks about building those first aid kits and the kind of things you would want to have. So this one certainly has value for that. But this is the same thing, dogs and cats, like how to build those first aid kits, how to diagnose, when to go to the vet, right? So good information. Think about your dogs and cats, right? That's important. And then you got your teeth, Emergency Dentist Handbook. What do you do? Providing dental care in disaster areas, combat zones, and other austere environments. Met Clark, right? This one's good. And then this is another one, Dental First Aid for Families, Richard Diamond. So this one is like put a tea bag on it, and this is you're going to need some OxyContin. So two different kind of books, right? Whether you want your Oxy or whether you want to put your tea bag on it. But they're there, right? They're both books. Interesting information if you ever have a problem with your teeth and you want to know how to do some self-care. That information is there. All right, last two. I think this is the last two in this pile. Another one, Medical Herbs. Rosemary Gladster, Medical Herbs, great book. Homegrown medicine, a lot of good pictures, a lot of good identification guides. You got turmeric, growing, medicinal uses. You get some recipes in here, golden milk, a lot of good information. You got recipes, identification, burdock, a lot of good information. Who knows? You might be at a point where you need kind of those medicinal options, or maybe that's what you want. No, grow, use. Good book, Rosemary Gladster, Medical Herbs. So I've got one last book. The Big Book of Herbal Medicine, 300 Natural Remedies for Health and Wellness. Tina Sams. Once again, you may not have that pharmacy available, or you may not like to do that. You might be the kind of person that wants to lean into the herbal, and same thing, right? A lot of great information. Woodruff, yarrow, you've got medicinal uses, safety consideration, preparations, how to make salves. You got a barn cat balm, fresh ginger tea, peppermint facial spa. A lot of good info. So I wanted to share that. Fire cider, right? Great stuff. So another good option, right? You want to have options. You want to have some alternatives. So want to jump into that, right? 30 Days of Preparedness 2025. That was my book dump, the Preppers Library. So once again, want to thank JJ and Michelle, Big Valley Living, for inviting us to the collab, giving us a chance, kind of inspiring to make videos. You know, haven't done a lot this year, but this gives me a chance to jump back into it, do a little bit, do some YouTubes. Appreciate everybody that's been watching the videos, all the comments and all that's always fun. You guys let me know, right? What do you guys want to see next? Said we got another week. We'll do another video. Let me know. Said I've got a few ideas, but it's fun to jump in and hear what you all might be interested in. So, as always, thank you for watching, and we appreciate you.